This thing right here has been the greatest downfall of man, besides pride and fear, the woman. All right. What Solomon said in the book of Ecclesiastes, he said, what I have found to be more bitter than death is the woman whose hearts are snares. He that feareth Yah will escape her, and he that does not fear Yah will be overtaken by her. Keep that in mind. This is the wealthiest, richest man of all time that said that. He said, what is more bitter than death is the woman. That is crazy. All right, so let's continue. So now, as you all are, we're merging our way to the sexual impurity part, but we got to talk about some other things. We're laying the groundwork right now. So as you all are continue to build in relationships with young women, continue to be cordial, continue to be nice, continue to be friendly. I'm not telling you not to do those things. Have relationships with them. Some of you all, they might be friends. You all can stay connected and help each other down the road and be mutual, business partners. You all might refer business to one another. All right. But keep it professional if you can. If you can. If this is not going to be the woman you're trying to spend the rest of your life with, don't look at it as the way us growing up did, where you're looking at it as she's another notch under my belt. That's wicked. That's wicked. You all on this line are men, young men of the Most High. So you're not out here trying to strive to see how many notches you can get under your belt. A fornicator is not going to inherit the kingdom of heaven. So it's not for you to be out here saying, I'm going to sow my wild oats. I'm going to screw everything walking. You got to, some of our parents was like that. Some of us was like that. You got to be the one to break the generational curse. Some of our parents have had us children out of wedlock. All right. We touching on some touchy topics right now. Or do you want to bring your children in the same way? Or do you want to break that curse? You have the power. Guess what? These women cannot have children if we start refraining ourselves and holding our seed to ourselves. Go to Proverbs chapter 30 real quick. Let me go there. Let me get some more wisdom to you all. Remember, this is the wisdom youth mentorship. Proverbs 31, matter of fact. Proverbs chapter 31. All right, grab your scriptures, travel along fast. We approaching 11:50. We moving along expeditiously. All right, Proverbs chapter 31 and verse number 1. It says, the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. His mother taught him this. What my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows. Number 3, give not thy strength unto a woman, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. All right. Number 3, give not your strength to a woman. Give not your power to a woman. Give not your authority to a woman. Give not your seed to a woman. Do not give your power to a woman, young men, my brothers on the line. And your seed symbolizes power. When you release that semen into a woman, you impart your DNA into her body. This is why a woman that's been with many men, she got many men's DNA inside of her. This is why when you have sex with more than one person, you take on all these different spirits of these individuals who you lie down with. That's why in the book, that's what Paul said, that he that is one with the harlot, he that has sex with a harlot is one with the harlot. When you cleave unto someone, and when you deposit your seed into a woman, you become one spiritually. That's why you're only supposed to have sex with your wife. That's the only woman that you're supposed to lay down with. Because those of us that have been sexually active before marriage, it puts you in a situation to where you're comparing your wife to another woman. You're comparing your wife to someone that may have did this to you in the bedroom. Something else. You're not supposed to have those comparisons. The Most High did not set it up. That his original plan was for you, the man, is not to be able to compare your woman to no one else. All right? So don't give your strength to a woman. Your strength could be your authority. It could be your power. It could be your leadership, and more importantly, moreover, your seed. Because it's a lot of things that's wrapped up into that little seed that comes out of your penis area. It's a lot of things that's attached to that sperm that comes out of you. All right, it's power, it's DNA, it's authority. That's why when you release, for those of you all in this line, and we've been vulnerable, we've been open. That's why from some of you all that have masturbated before and you have spilled your seed on the ground. All right, you know how you immediately felt weaker after you did that. You felt shameful, you felt guilty because you was not supposed to let your seed leave you like that. So when you give your seed to a woman, you lose your power. And they have a saying for those men that keep having sex over and over again, they become effeminate because they're taking on these ways of a woman all the time. You're supposed to listen. Some people will even say that you're not supposed to even be having sex recreationally. Your sexual activity with your woman, it should be for procreation. Now, that's up for debate. I'm not here to argue with that on that. All right. But in today's time, people do it for recreation. Some people will say in biblical times it was to create a child. It wasn't that, oh, I'm just feeling horny. I'm going to go and take you in the back room tonight. And we're going to do this 2 or 3 times a week. That's recreational sex. All right. When you're doing it for the purpose of child creation, it causes you to have a purpose. So let's continue. So we talked about that. Don't give over to your strength. In the book of Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, it tells you do not give your power over to any as long as you live. This is why it's very important for you, man, to understand, to know that when the decision is made, when the final decision has to be made, it should be coming to you, the man. Yes, you get your woman's advice. You get her advice. You ask her what she thinks. You ask her whatever feedback she has so she can feel informed, because you don't just have to dominate your woman and act like her opinion don't matter. The Most High does speak to women. But at the end of the day, you are the final authority. You, man on this line, everything, the final word should be coming out of your mouth. Because the Most High, when you go to Genesis chapter 3, all right, let's go there for a second. Genesis chapter 3. We're going to talk about the sexual impurity things as well. Now, I want to make sure I give this topic the same type of respect I gave to some of those other topics, that even if it got to spill over to another week, that I don't rush through this, because this is very important. One mistake. Do you know how many men I've come in contact with who wish they never would have married the woman they married, or never would have wished they wouldn't have been sliding them into all these women? They got 7 children, about 4 baby mamas. You know how many men are miserable? This is not a game out here. You could be in your feelings, you could be in your emotions, you could lay down with a woman, and it could take away half of what you have, and your respect, and your dignity, and your honor. Ask King David about that. When he laid down with Bathsheba, the people in Israel did not never respect him again from that day forward the way they once did before that situation. He never had the respect. The Most High still allowed him to live. He still allowed him to live. But his own son didn't even respect him. He rose up and tried to take the kingdom. And the children of Israel, they followed out to Absalom, the counterfeit king. So you could lose a lot. Judah, going into his daughter-in-law, a Canaanite, like going into the Canaanite first, whom he was forbidden to even deal with. He was disobedient, and that cost him giving up his signet ring, giving up his staff. Give not your strength to a woman. Our men in the Bible, we have given up, they have given up their strength to a woman for 15 minutes of pleasure. But what you don't understand is after the 15 minutes of pleasure comes guilt, it comes shame, it comes remorse, it comes the fact that you will never possibly be the same man that you ever was leading up to that point. So let's continue. Genesis chapter 3 and verse 16. All right. It said, unto the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. This is leadership being given to the man right there. All right. Leadership is given to the man. He shall rule over you. You don't rule over her with you don't got to be punching her. You don't have to be smacking her. You don't have to be cussing her out every moment to show that you have rulership. But the fact of the matter is, when a decision is to be made, you are the final authority, not her. There's so many weak, soft, effeminate men in today's society that when I'm out in the marketplace selling things to individuals, they say, I gotta talk to her. She makes the final decision. I gotta run it past her. She's the one that wears the pants. You see how soft and effeminate that sound? Okay. So in business, I need to X you out. I just need to talk to her then. All right, and I got to be careful. You know, you got to still be careful not to be disrespectful. But it's like if she is going to make the final decision, then in business, okay, I got to find a way to present what I'm presenting to her. So these brothers out here are soft. So I'm just telling you all, keep that in mind, but don't abuse your privilege. Don't abuse it to make her become your slave. Some people do treat their wives as slaves. I'm not advising you to do that. In order for you to get the best out of your woman, the best, all right, you can get the best out of her by being understanding and listening and taking in what she has to say. All right, so women, write this scripture down. Proverbs chapter 21 verse 9. Write it down, please. Write this down. This is very important. We haven't even really got into the sexual aspects, the diseases, and all the stuff that can come along with this. All right, but I want you to get to the emotional part first, because we did not cover women last week. We just sticked on pride, and we were supposed to deal with egos and women. So Proverbs 21:9. It is better to dwell on the corner of a housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. Let me say that again for the people in the back row. It is better to dwell on the corner of a housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. Listen here, I'm trying to tell you all this. This is why you need a woman that fears the Most High. Because if you have a worldly woman, and even women that fear the Most High, they can lose it, they can get angry, upset, and they can go off too. All right? But imagine one that don't have his spirit. Imagine one that don't revere him and don't fear him. And y'all get into an argument, she go grab a knife. That's why Proverbs says, better for you to dwell on the top of your house, do you to dwell on the roof of your house, than to be in a wide place where this woman can keep on trying to charge you, keep on trying to run her mouth to you. When she calls the police, who are they going to believe first? Or do you think they're going to take your side first? Especially, I see all you brothers on the line. I think that every one of you on the Zoom meeting has melanin on your skin. And I'm here to tell you today that the system is against you, melanated brother. The system, if a woman calls the police on you, they're going to automatically believe her first. I'm just saying. So, brother, you got to be careful out here that you're not letting your loins, you're not letting your private parts ruin your whole life, or it's going to lead you to a life of shame and misery. Go down to verse 19, same scripture. We're going to go to verse 9 to verse 19. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. It's better for you to go dwell in the wilderness among lions, among bears, among snakes, among animals out there. You got a better chance of living than to be around a woman when she's angry and upset. A woman that's angry and upset, in her regular mind, she knows that you're 6 feet tall, 6'3", 6'2". She knows that you're 200 some pounds. She knows that she doesn't have a chance with you. But when she gets angry and upset, all that flies out the window. And when she can grab a knife, grab a plate, grab something to hit you with, to throw at you, to do all that, when that spirit of anger overtakes her, she don't care about none of that. And it can cost you your life. That's why you got to be very careful of who you choose to enter into a covenant with. Not just a marriage, a covenant agreement. Marriages, a lot of people that is married, they're going to marrying through the state. The state is involved in their marriage, all right? But in the biblical times, this is a marriage covenant, not a contract. You have to come before the Most High. So you have to really, this is what I'm telling you, young brothers right here, to really take inventory, to really look at this thing and be serious about who you are going to spend the rest of your life with. That's what I'm telling you. Don't rush. Don't even make no one feel rushed. Don't let no one make you feel rushed. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't allow an elder, don't allow one of your mentors, don't allow no one to pressure you and get married tomorrow. Take your time, gradually go through this thing. It took me 2 years to get married to my wife. When I met her, and we stayed in contact from time to time. I would come down and visit. I would go back home. Every now and then she'd come and visit me. I was visiting her, driving 100 miles. All right. And that long distance relationship actually kept us out of sin. It kept us, because if I was seeing her every day, I would have messed up my honor and humility, because I probably would have went in into her. But that distance, sometimes it'd be good for you having a distance between you and your spouse. Future. Anyway, keep things pure. Keep things business. If you got a business person that's contacting you on matters pertaining to business, keep it business. Don't mess with your money. That client that's willing to pay you now, she want everything for free. She gonna be expecting favors from you now because you got too emotionally attached. Keep things business if you can.